Hi guys! Today I will show you my very first sketchbook, and honestly I'm not sure how I should comment this because I've never done this before, but maybe I can show you some of my artworks to get you inspired, so let's get started. The first page is me. I drew my animated portrait. I started drawing this in January in 2024 and finished it at the end of April this year. I decided to draw things that I don't usually draw because I'm, interested in realistic drawings. But I wanted to try something new and practice things that are my weaknesses, let's say. So I drew a lot of flowers, different objects, random objects. Kids are not my weaknesses, but I love them. So I need to include them when I was in mood. And sometimes I included my favorite characters from the movies. All of these movies were released in 2004. This main character was in the movie called 30 Going 30. This one is from Mean Girls, and this one is from Eurotrip. All of them are comedies because I love, funny situations, funny movies. This is male face from different angles. These are some entry tickets from my trips to the Czech Republic. Another random objects, insects, baby fox, emo girl, and her essential things that might be included in her purse, like MP3 player, headphones, eyeliner. This was painted with watercolor paints because I'm not very confident with brush because I usually use pencils, markers and stuff like that, but I wanted to try something new, and I think that by choosing something small, not complicated, it turned out pretty well. What do you think? This was my attempt for a landscape painting. My favorite animated character from my favorite childhood animated series, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I drew him, in different moods, in different emotional states. Another emo girl, this time in anime style. As I said, I usually draw realistic things and realistic portraits, so I try to make a comparison, and I chose Jarvey from My Chemical Romance. This is his realistic portrait, and this portrait was done in anime version. This is my favorite Pokemon card, Pidgey. I know that he's not a powerful Pokemon, but I think he's really cute. Another cats, some random doodle, because at that time I bought a new set of Posca markers and I never used them before, so I wanted to try them out. And I chose 3 colors that match together, and this is the result. This was inspired by the game I used to play last March, Overcooked. It was really fun to play, I recommend it. Some eyes, because eyes are very interesting. Eyes are like windows to our soul, and just by looking at the person's face you can say what the person is feeling like, if he's happy, if he's mad, if he's sad. And in certain emotional state, his eyes may change, the shapes, you know. Then I practice hands because many people try to avoid drawing them, and sometimes they are really, really hard to draw. Then we have some Italian objects because this character is a lead singer from the Italian rock band called Blindfold. This is a random girl, and I included a positive sentence so I can read it anytime I want, and I want to remind myself that changes are essential and we cannot avoid them, but many changes can change our life for the better. That's why we shouldn't be afraid too much. This was drawn in the backyard. I love the contrast of black and white. This was drawn with ink pens. Another random flowers. This was drawn while listening to Green Day's album 21st Century Breakdown. This is my favorite breakfast, you can say. This was inspired by the Mexican band The Warnings video, the single Sick. I loved the colors that was used in the video, and I thought to myself that maybe I could draw them in a non-realistic way and use the colors included in the video, like pink and violet. Another cat. Another comparison, this horse from the chessboard and the realistic horse. I think that horses are really beautiful animals. They're really intelligent, and they are so royal, I think. This is my mess from the desk, from my working desk. It was a challenge to draw because you need to look many times at the objects and then draw them on the paper. Another woman. Another comparison, this time with dances, traditional dance, modern dance. These are different types of fishes. I think that fishes are also fun to draw because they have different colors, they are colorful, and I love them. I honestly don't know what I should say, so I just skip it. You can see what is drawn on the paper, so no need to comment it. But this was the beginning of my obsession of Deadpool and Wolverine, and it was so good. I loved the movie, and it was too good to not watch it again and again and again. And then when I was stuck and I didn't know what to draw, I found an old Inktober prompts and I decided to give it a try. You know, I don't have time to draw every single day, but I wanted to know how far I would come, and I really tried, but I finished after 9 days. I know it's not much, but at least I tried. I think it's a huge commitment for a whole month, and I'm a big fan of people who are able to finish it. This was drawn on the last day of 2024. I wanted to draw something special, something connected with that year, and it was a clear choice. Deadpool and Wolverine will always represent something amazing from that year. This was my very first drawing of this year. I wanted to celebrate New Year somehow, although it was drawn almost 2 weeks after the beginning of the year. This was inspired by the anime series Komi Can Communicate. I love her. This was inspired after watching the Squid Game Season 2. This time I tried to draw cats in different moods: sad, proud, curious, and angry cat. This was inspired by the game called Life is Strange, and that game is like 10 years old, but I gave it a try because I wanted to have some fun, and I didn't know how much I would be, obsessed with the game, because it was a really good one. And next drawing that I drew was a smiling dog for a better day. This character was also in the game Life is Strange. Maxine, she was the main character in the first part. She was a photographer. Another random objects, random human faces. Then I drew a face without the skin, a skeleton. This was difficult to draw because of the bones and ribs, and it should look, like straight, consistent, I don't know. Another animal drawings. This was drawn after coming back from Prague. I was there at the exhibition of ancient Egypt. I loved history, and I think that I also love history of Egypt. I love the obsession with cats also that they had in the past. Another character from Life is Strange. She was a really beautiful character. I wanted to draw something colorful and use my markers. Another eyes, but this time of different animals. This was drawn while watching Deadpool and Wolverine at home. Gambit that was drawn in my style. This snail was drawn in unusual way. I used colors that don't usually match with snail, but why not? I wanted to try an unusual combination, and this is the result. He looks like, like an alien snail or a space snail, a young blood, flowers, another random objects. Lily, she was or she is a character in the Duolingo game. I love her because she's smart and emo and shy. Lighthouse, cat skincare routine. And the last drawing of the sketchbook is a seahorse, a pun, see the beauty. This is the end. As you can see, thank you for watching. I hope that it was fun to watch this, although my commenting skills are not so good. But thank you very much, and maybe see you next time. Bye!